Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Glad to have you with us, and we are also glad, Sam and I, to have with us Jeff Cooley, who is girls' head soccer coach at CHS, right, Jeff?
That's correct, yeah.
Season's over.
Season's over. We had a good year. We finished 12-5.
Yes.
And we were the runner-up in the sectional, so had a really good season.
Yes, because you had a kind of rebuilding year, didn't you? Lose some girls to graduation?
Well, no, we lost a few last year.
Okay.
We were set up pretty well this year
Okay.
to have a good season, and we did. So I was appreciative of that.
Right. What about seniors on your team this year?
We had 5 seniors.
Okay.
Which a big part of our team. Be hard to replace them.
I'll bet. I'll bet. What other sport is good for a player that wants to take part in soccer?
Well, I'm one of those guys that thinks you should play 3, 4, 5 sports. I mean, every sport will benefit you. I mean, it's not a specific sport, but a whole gamut of sports that really contribute to any other sport. I think you get things from each sport that carries over to the other one.
Yeah, what about cheerleader and Spartanette?
Oh, absolutely. I had 3 Spartanettes and a cheerleader, and they were very productive.
Yeah, these kids, they work as hard as an athlete does.
Well, sure, absolutely.
Right. Sam, you want to ask him what the best game was?
Yeah, talk a little bit about some of your best games that you had this year. And
I would say that we had a few really interesting games. We beat Delta 8-5. Delta has a young lady going to Penn State. She's a junior. She leads the state in scoring. She scored, I think, 56 goals. I know this doesn't sound very good, but we held her to 4, which is pretty good. And we scored 8 ourselves. So that one sticks out in my mind. And probably our sectional victory over Rushville. That was another really good game for us.
You know, no matter what the sport, there are 2 R's that I like to beat, Rushville and Richmond.
Well, we beat them both this year, Sam,
well,
so that's a good thing.
Yeah, sure is. What about some of these kids on your team? Some names that we might recognize?
Well, we had 5 seniors, Emily Price, Victoria Metcalf, Claire Cleve, Elise Matney, and forgetting one.
It'll come to you.
It'll come to me. Emily, Victoria, Elise, Claire, and Morgan Daffler.
Okay.
Yeah, they were a huge part of our team.
Mm-hmm. That's always hard to see those seniors go, but it is an opportunity for the next year.
Yeah, it is, especially because these were the first. This is my 4th year coaching, so I've had these girls all 4 years, so that makes it tougher.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good feeder program, though, with the...
We do. The JV, Zach Morgan coaches the JV for me, and we had 28 girls total in the program, and our JV did pretty well, so we have some girls that are coming, and the future looks pretty bright, I think.
What about middle school? Do they have soccer?
Middle school doesn't have soccer.
Okay, so you get your youngsters from where?
Well, usually it comes from the feeder program is down at the soccer complex, the little kids, and then we have some travel teams. Girls play on those.
Okay.
They travel around. That's basically how we get our players.
Do you help in any of the coaching of those teams?
No, I don't. It's more or less through the park. So so I really don't.
We've got a pretty good facilities for the youngsters to play on.
Very nice, nice down there. The soccer fields are good. The whole complex is nice.
Should be a great place when it's finished, the River's Edge Park.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
We're looking at some baseball fields. I'm also on the park board, so we're trying to get that pushed through as quickly as we can. It will be a very nice facility down there.
Need a parking garage down there at times, so.
Parking can be an issue. Yeah. We will if in the grand scheme of things have more parking. Yeah, there'll be some more parking on the backside by the baseball fields and all that. So it's going to be a nice facility. It already is a pretty nice soccer facility, and it's really going to be an outstanding facility when we get it finished.
Project's having little bit of delay in getting underway. Where does it stand right now?
Well, funding is what we're
okay.
looking
Well,
at. I mean, you know how that goes.
Join the club.
Yeah, join the club. We're trying to get the funding in order, and once that happens, we'll move on. It is a slow process because it's a lot of money.
Yes.
You know, we're looking to get some grants and the city and county chipping in, et cetera, but it all takes time.
Right, but it'll be worth it once it's complete.
It certainly will.
Right.
It certainly will.
But the facility at CHS, isn't that a relatively new field?
Our soccer field?
Yes.
It's about 5 or 6 years old now,
okay.
I think. It's really very nice. It's one of the, it's probably the best field that we play on, other
Really?
than maybe a turf field. Oh yeah, it's top notch. It really is.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that we are top of the list in that facility.
Absolutely.
And with new restroom and concession facilities nearby too, that just
that adds to it.
the amenities there, that adds to it
Oh,
for
absolutely.
people that come out and want to watch.
Yeah, sure does.
In the conference, how did we do?
We finished 5th. We were
Okay.
we were ahead of Rushville and Greensburg and Franklin County.
I suppose East Central was near the top.
East Central won. Yes.
Which is
East
not
Central-
news, I
No,
guess.
that's not news. East Central won, and I believe it was East Central, Lawrenceburg, and then South Dearborn, Batesville, us, Franklin County, Greensburg, and Rushville.
It's a tough conference.
It really is.
Yes,
The
it-
top, in girls soccer, the top 4 in our conference are always ranked in the top
Yes.
10 or 15 in the state, year in and year out. So it is a difficult conference.
Yeah. What's a typical practice session for the girls?
In the early days, in August, we usually go a couple of hours. We do individual ball work to start every day, just fundamentals like you need to do with any kind of, and then we'll go on to some drill work, some shooting stuff. I'll have Zach take the goalkeepers and work with them a little bit, and a little conditioning and scrimmaging at the end. That's pretty typical in August and early September. Then we get a little bit further into it. We cut it down to about an hour and a half to save our legs a little bit, and then around sectional time, it's about an hour of practice.
You play under the lights very often?
Not very often, but we have. Places like Lawrenceburg, East Central, those places we've played under the lights. I can't think of anywhere else, but typically we do play a little later there because they have the turf, and they wait for their
Yes.
football team to get off the football field. So, you know.
I think they wait for it to cool down too. Don't they?
Well,
I
in
understand
August-
about turf gets
Sure.
a little warm in the summer.
Yeah, that's true. In August, it does get a little hot.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you've got that program in hand and under your belt, the experience, and the kids keep coming. Even though in high school, all sports, you have a different team every year, don't you?
You do. You have a different team every year because you get girls that don't decide to come back out, or you get girls who decide to come back out and they're juniors or seniors, and it's interesting. Every year is kind of a new team. You don't really know what you're getting, but the fun part is you kind of mold those girls into a team. So it's interesting, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. You want to be their leader. You want them to be good citizens, and
Sure.
what sports is all about, isn't it?
Absolutely. Teamwork and that type of stuff, for sure.
Kids that are involved in sports and other extracurricular activities, band and all that, tend to be better students as well.
They do. They tend to be able to organize their time better. They tend to be better academically. So, yeah, I mean, there's a huge plus for extracurriculars, yeah.
That's an important part of sports, and Sam and I are always happy when kids do well in both the school and in the sports,
Yeah.
in the classroom.
For sure.
But,
My girls are they're really good students. Some of them are like valedictorian type up there in the top 10 of their class. So yeah,
Well-
I'm very proud of them in that aspect.
they get that from their mom, I suppose.
I don't know.
No. Do you have any girls in high school right now?
No, both my girls have
thought
graduated.
so,
They're
right.
yeah, they're in college now.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I know you hope they do as well in college as they did at CHS.
I hope they do better.
Right. Well, Jeff, it's really glad for you to take time to join us. I know this is fall break, and the teachers are helter-skelter here, and we're happy to have you join us because we have to have a coach.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Can we talk about football for a minute?
Sure.
Okay, thanks. Sam, you had a ball game Friday night. Tell us about
I had a
it.
terrific ball game Friday night at Muncie Central. I'd never been there for a game. Of course, it's right next to the field house. Two historic facilities. It said 1950. It's a concrete facility
How
there,
about that?
and the date on it was 1950. So we played in a 70-year-old facility, and but it's been well maintained. And a rainy, cold night. The wind was blowing straight out of the north. I liked the way our kids played. We scored 54 points, but I credit defense with a lot of that, of getting the ball back for us, and then the offense took over and did what they needed to do.
Right.
But 54 points, and I didn't look it up. I don't know the last time we'd scored 54. I think we had a season high of 42 or 48 against Rushville this year, which was quite a bit. So
Yes.
Kids came to play. They got down early, and it was only we were up 12-8 at halftime, but really kicked it into high gear in the third quarter.
I'm like you. Anytime a football team scores 50 or more points, they've had a good night.
That they have.
Right.
And, fun to watch, and the good news is that they get to come back home and play here
Yes.
on Friday night against Newcastle, and I think Newcastle has won 4 games now. Maybe it was 3, but talking to their radio guy up there, I think they're a lot like us, but a very winnable game, and we could be propelled into the sectional championship game the following week, which is something that I don't know that we've ever done. So that would be great.
Yes, it would. I believe that game would be here.
It's here this Friday night, and it just depends on the upper bracket. I forget how that worked out.
Okay.
We are in the lower bracket, and probably, and I don't want to look too far ahead, but probably Mount Vernon would be the team we play. They're undefeated.
Yes.
And I don't know where they fell in the bracket and if they've hosted or not. It all has to do where you are in the bracket and if you've hosted.
Newcastle and the Spartans did not play during the regular season.
No, they played sectional a few years ago. I remember going up there for a sectional game. In fact, I think it was maybe it was a round 2 game. I don't know. But well, I think what's cool about it is 2 basketball powerhouses that love to get at each other and now going to get together on the football field.
And 2 that have the biggest gyms in the state. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Very good.
So,
As a coach, Jeff, not playing a team before, like during the regular season, is that a plus or a minus?
I think it can be a little bit of either.
Okay.
I think, and speaking just in soccer terms now, you don't really have a scouting time in soccer.
Okay.
So you look up the stats and see who their better players are, but you don't, like, say in basketball, we used to go scout.
Yes.
You don't really do that. So having played them once before is kind of an advantage, but then again, not a whole lot.
Yes. You know, the weaknesses and strengths with that one game.
You do. That's true. But that's just one game sample in 16 or 18. Maybe there's one girl that's had a really good game that
Yes,
game who
sure.
never did anything before. So it's kind of a catch-22.
You scout football? Do you scout?
Have I?
No, but do you as a?
Well, I think now they are on this. It's called Huddle. It's a big computer program where
Okay.
Coach Jackson will send his tape, film, computer, whatever it is, computer file, I guess, to the next team, and he'll do the same. You can get on there and scout that way.
Okay, I was wondering if it's personal,
Yeah.
like in basketball.
Yeah,
as you
well,
say.
in basketball, I haven't been in basketball for a while, but I think it's changed as
Yes.
well. I used to go drive all over the place getting tape on a Saturday morning,
Right.
but I'm assuming that they have very much the same thing.
They do.
Yes,
But you'll still see coaches, if they have an off night, a lot of times you still see them in the stand watching it live.
Yeah.
Because I think that probably you can see more that way than you can on tape, although on tape you got a chance to back it up and watch it again. But
Yeah, so I think there's pros and cons to both aspects.
And you show it to the kids too, the tape, so they have an idea.
Yeah. Well, again, I think that in this day and age, you can kids get on Huddle also, and they can watch. I know they watch that a lot, so
Sure, right. Let's talk about sports this week at CHS. Of course, I know it's not news that Newcastle comes to town on Friday night and plays the Spartans in sectional round 2 at 7 o'clock at kickoff. On Saturday, the Lady Spartans meet Lady Patriots in a basketball scrimmage at Union County High School starting at 12 noon. The season opens for Connersville in games Thursday, November 5th with New Palestine at Spartan Bowl. Game times will be 6 for the junior varsity, followed by the varsity game at approximately 7:30. And Union County travels to Milan the next night on November the 6th on a Friday for their opening game for the Patriots. And they play here in Connersville on January the 5th in the regular season game at Spartan Stadium. So Sam's going to be nice to have the Lady Patriots come to Connersville. Yeah,
sure.
They always have a pretty good team, don't they?
Oh yeah, they have had the last several years.
Yeah,
so.
They're a strong competitor.
Big, tall.
Big and tall in basketball, you can't beat it, huh? Yeah. Area football team records following sectional round 1 play. Richmond lost their sectional game to Mount Vernon 49-7. Their final record is 1-8. Centerville lost 32-12 to Indianapolis Acina. They're 8-2 is their Centerville's final record. Rushville lost 2-0 by forfeit to Scottsburg. 0-9 was their final record. Jeff, you happen to know what happened? Did the virus prevent that game from being played?
I think so. The game was canceled then. It's interesting that they forfeit and it's 2-0. I don't understand. I would think forfeit's just a forfeit.
Well, the final score.
But it's too bad for I give our friends at Rushville a hard time, but it's too bad for those kids.
You really do to have your season end like that.
Right,
I mean,
even though they were winless going in, it was still another opportunity for them,
absolutely.
And they didn't get that opportunity.
Right, and I'm sure the kids will remember that, and it's not one of the better memories of their high school careers.
No.
But, Cambridge City lost a sectional game 38-0 to North Decatur, 1-6 final record, and Union County lost to Providence 42-7, 3-6 final record for the Patriots. Franklin County won 21-0 over Batesville. They play round 2 game at Greensburg. Their present record is 5-2, and the Spartans, they won that sectional game over Muncie Central 54-21. They play Friday against Newcastle at 7 at Spartan Stadium. Spartans are 2-6 on the season. Newcastle is 4-5 after its sectional win over Shelbyville 42-6. So we want the Spartans to keep rolling along here. This is great.
It is great. It is great. They didn't have as many regular season wins as I know as they would have liked, but they were in most of those games except the last 3 games. But the rest of them, I thought they played well, and there's great promise for the future for those kids.
Yes, they did. A lot of young kids on the team, and we have received news that there will be no tickets for the public Friday night.
Yes, just parents and grandparents, I think.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate. It's the time we're living in, but we just hope that next year things can change for everybody, because we always have good crowds out at Spartan Field. And
great support for the Spartans.
Great support year in and year out. Of course, Dave and I will have it all on the radio.
Right,
so,
they can support you through the radio.
Right, we invite you to tune in to KMX 106.9, and we'll bring it to you as best we can.
If you don't get a victory, we won't listen to you anymore. Okay. No, the Spartans kids, we've had a good season, and congratulations to the Spartans and Coach Jackson and the staff, because I know they've worked hard with these kids and a lot of adversities, but they've done well.
Yep.
Right, right. Jeff, back to you. The program at CHS is a good one. I think we can be proud of it. And with the new field house, does that help you in any of your sports?
Oh, absolutely. It helps
Does it?
me. Oh, yes. We'll start an indoor soccer throughout the winter. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be very helpful. Track and field will have the ability to practice pole vault, high jump, long jump. So yeah, that'll be a huge help for us.
Right. So it's been tough until we've had a facility like that with the weather.
It's been a lot of years in the hallway, which is not great for running on. Creates a lot of shin splints, a lot of injuries. But now we can do some stuff in the field house, and of course you couldn't go outside in the dead of winter and
Sure.
pole vault or high jump or any of that. So now we'll be able to do that. So it will be a great advantage for us.
Right. You got a track and field shirt on. Tell us about track and field at CHS.
Well, we did not have a season last year, so as far as that goes, we did get one meet in at East Central, and then of course the whole season was canceled.
Yes.
So it's pretty up in the air. I mean, we haven't been able to do anything in the off season because of this COVID stuff, and I'm hopeful that things will get back to somewhat normal, and we'll start working out here in November, December. That's my hope. Of course, in this day and age, you don't know for sure.
Everyone hopes when a vaccine comes around and is available that will get the country here straightened out.
I hope that very same thing.
Yeah, it's been tough on kids. They've missed a lot of things because of this.
Yeah, well, I feel bad, especially for the senior kids last year that had run track for 4 years, and all of a sudden you don't get that your senior year, and
Right.
makes you feel bad for those kids.
Yeah.
It's really good then that we have this indoor facility that we can use, since they haven't gotten to do anything for more than a year. So
Yeah.
of course, your competition, when you go against the competition, they're in the same boat as we are.
They are.
But
It helps a little bit now, especially when we get to the indoor season. We run a couple of indoor meets. We'd go like East Central, Greensburg. They'd always be better because they had that indoor facility. So they were able to kind of get a leg up on us. Well, hopefully now when we come there, we can be up to speed with them and competitive right there in the indoor season.
Sure.
Yeah, it's going to get a lot of use, and it's money well spent by the school board and the people in charge.
Yeah, it's a nice facility to teach in as well. So yeah.
Yes, right. Well, the band had a performance in there a few days ago, and I haven't seen it on the inside personally, but it looks great in the picture.
It's a beautiful facility. It
Yes.
really is.
Right.
I know volleyball played their matches in there this year, and I know in PE I use it quite a bit.
Well, it'll get a lot of use, and like Sam said, we've kind of been at a disadvantage during the years against schools that have. I understand East Central has a great one.
Yeah.
And
Greensburg has one. East Central has one. Lawrenceburg has a nice facility. It's not really a field house, but they have a new facility down there as well. So, yeah, we're kind of up to speed now, which is good. Did you like that?
Yeah, no pun intended.
No pun intended.
Well, you do fall sports, you do spring sports. I think maybe it's time for you to get back on the basketball sideline and do something in the winter.
Maybe.
I miss
so.
seeing you at the ball.
I miss talking to you too. It's especially that night before Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Those are always fun.
Yeah, nothing
great.
like it.
And doing a little interview after the game, I enjoyed that myself. So you never know. I have some more time now, I think.
Yeah, well, the kid's off to college, so.
Kids off to college. Yeah, well, I could use the money too, probably.
Absolutely.
speaking of that night before Thanksgiving, there's nothing quite like that, and time will tell how it will work out this year, and we hope for the best because I think that's something that Union County and Connersville fans wait for from the day before Thanksgiving to the day before Thanksgiving. So
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good for both communities. Win or
it really
lose.
is.
I mean,
It really is. I mean, it sets the tone for the whole season for both clubs, and it's look forward to it.
You know, if fans are limited, which I'm afraid they might be, you know, I was listening Saturday to the IU game on the radio, and of course they have piped in crowd noise. So I don't know that we can do that, but it may be a little quiet.
Well, we hope
when
not,
we go to
because
do basketball games. So
that's
be a lot of squeaking we
Yeah.
hear from their shoes.
and we'll be using Spartan Bowl shortly, November the 5th, for the girls' opening game in New Palestine. So some decisions are going to have to be made here shortly. And I'm sure Mr. Duncan is working hard with the health people to determine what's the best route to take.
It's a big challenge.
It absolutely is, and like you point out on one of the other subjects, there are a lot of them in the same boat. So I'm sure athletic directors throughout Indiana and the country may be trying to figure out how to accommodate the fans and keep everybody healthy, and that's the aim, right? So it's going to be an interesting winter. We were hoping at midsummer this would all be taken care of by now, but it hasn't.
It hasn't. That's unfortunate, but I think we're learning to adjust and learning to live with it.
True. It's becoming a way of life.
Just so we don't go back into another lockdown. That's
Well, we hope not, because
I don't know that that's a good thing, but that's not up to us to decide.
That's right. I think there's some communities, areas that are worse off than what we are right now, and they're kind of on the brink of what to do. And
Right.
I'm sure people in business are holding their breath and hoping for the best.
Absolutely.
For the best. Well, the future is bright for you guys for next year for soccer.
I think so. I have a lot of girls returning. Like I said before, it'll be real difficult to replace the seniors we're losing, but somebody will step up and somebody will get that role. So
Right.
The interesting part is to see which girl's going to do that. So that's why I enjoy it.
What do they need to do in the meantime?
Oh, they need to be working. I gave a little speech at the end of the season on the bus ride home, and we're going to do some indoor stuff. We're going to do some stuff in the spring. We'll play a little bit. We'll have some scrimmages against other teams, etc. But most importantly, they individually need to work on their skills. They need to put in the time to be better individually, which then makes us better as a team. So.
You want them to get into the weight room and things like that?
A lot of them are in APC, the weightlifting class, and most of them play other sports. So yeah, we're in the weight room, and they're active. So that's a good thing. Like I said before, I encourage them to play multiple sports. I don't think one sport athletes are the way to go.
Of course, you have to be careful with the IHSA restrictions.
There are restrictions, yeah, and
Yes.
it's relatively new too. So there are periods of time when you can and cannot work with them. So
Right.
Mr. Duncan keeps us informed of those times. So
Jeff, thanks as always for joining us,
Well,
taking
thanks.
time out and bringing us up to date on what's going on at CHS.
no problem. I enjoyed it.
Thanks everybody for watching this edition of Spartan Sports Report. Sam and I will be back next week. Goodbye.